You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh, how
you know what time it is. I'm raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. That's Mello. And as you can see, this is what we do, man. We have another elite recruit in the 2026 class with us tonight, NASCAR Mccoy. NASCAR, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Mello, how about you?
Man, I'm doing good. It's good to see this young man without a helmet on. I saw him in a track event about last month. That team was flying. Them and Grayson were going at it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, it's cool. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The Lord has blessed me and Mello with an opportunity to meet recruits such as NASCAR and have conversations about how they got to where they're at and what the Lord's doing in their life right now. And, man, it just gives me energy, man, and I love it. You know, the Bible tells you love the Lord and love your neighbor, man. And when you get to the point in your life when you love to see other people's success and stuff, the Lord's in your life, man. So I love it, man. So chat, you know what to do, man. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you have not already. Take a quick second before we dive into this and share this on your X, your Facebook, your Instagram. Go check out NASCAR's Twitter account, all his stuff. Show him some support and some love, man. You guys are about to find out why Ohio State is recruiting him so hard and why he is one of the best safeties in the nation. He's got the skill on the field and the character to back it up. So let's just dive into it, man. NASCAR, obviously, you've been playing some football for a little bit in your life. Take us back to the beginning, man. When did this love for football start and how did it come about?
So, man, I grew up in a single-parent household. You know, my mom grew up around football, like, her whole life. So, when I was born, she told me she threw a football in my hand and I wouldn't put it down. So, at 3 years old, I went out to my first tryout, and I was supposed to be at the flag team and everything, but I ended up going with the 5-year-olds, which was past then. And I came down just flying around, and I didn't want to leave practice. Like, I used to want to stay at practice all day. My mom used to have to fight me to get off the field. And, you know, it's just like that now. Like, I stay at the field extra time and get extra work in. Like, it just built up from there. You know, me being a young kid and falling in love with the game at such a young age is just still there for me, and it's never leaving.
So did you grow up in Beaufort the whole time?
No, I actually grew up in the city of Atlanta. Atlanta. I came from Atlanta. Yes, sir.
So when did you move out to the Beaufort area?
I moved out of Beaufort the end of my 8th grade year, beginning of my 8th grade. My 8th grade season was kind of really when I kind of got to a spot where I knew that I was going to be really good at this game. You know, I had a big growth spurt then. I shot from around like 5'10" to 6'2" out of nowhere. So a lot of people just got around me, and I started to just feel myself in a lot, you know, get comfortable with the game a lot more.
I guess I wanted to back up. I didn't mean to skip that many years, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So what was it like playing ball in the city of Atlanta?
So in the city of Atlanta, I mean, it's the most I may be biased on this, but it's the most competitive league in the nation, to be honest. We traveled all. My team was actually the number 1 team in the nation. We were called the Dream Team. We traveled out and played guys like Malachi Tony with his teams. We played all the guys in the world. I used to go watch Jeremiah Smith play down at Miami Gardens. We seen it all. So I feel like playing in Atlanta was what built me up to get that dog mentality in my mind. And, you know, it's the best football around.
Hey, NASCAR, I got to ask, man, I'm jumping ahead a little bit because the chat is pretty intrigued on why the name NASCAR.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can connect the two there. We know you're a track guy, big-time track guy, man.
Yes, sir.
Fill us in on that. Let us know a couple times, 240 time, 100-meter time. Let us know, man, NASCAR, how it come about.
So coming up, I was a dog in the track. Like I caught the name around 8 years old. I was a junior Olympic champ for 3 years in a row when I was younger. I came back. I let off track a little bit, and I just focused on football. This was 707 first came in around 11, 12. I let off track a little bit. Came back freshman year. I ran 23-1. And it wasn't too great for me. I knew I was a track guy, so I was like, I know I could do way better than that. So I came back my sophomore year. I went 22-3, and I just started rolling from then in the 200 meters. So then this year I went 22 flat. And me and my guys with this 4x2, we've been rolling ever since. So, yeah. No, 100 time, by the way, 10.76.
Yeah, he moving.
It's pretty fast. I ran a 10.4 in high school, but that's back from my old. That's a lie. That is a lie, man. I think it was a 10.4 70 meter is what I ended up getting. So, hey, NASCAR, another thing real fast, bro. So pretty big time recruit now, man. You got a lot of teams after you, but was there a moment in your life when you or your family or support group around you kind of realized, hey, man, you got a future in this thing? Can you walk us through that moment?
I mean, I would say, like I said, about 8th grade, I went to my first college camp at 8th grade. I actually went to the Alabama camp, Nick Saban. And he put me, so they used to do camps where they'll put the young guys with the young guys, and they'll put the upperclassmen with the upperclassmen. I was doing the fire as soon as I got there. I walked in as a freshman. They was like, wait, who is this guy? Who is this cat? So they threw me in the fire, and I performed. I started off as a very big guy with great man coverage skills, with very, very much speed. So my family just started coming to a lot of my games and seeing how I was just growing and how I was just maturing in the game. And they just, caught the eye of it, yeah, this is the one we're going to stick on. A lot of my family members called me the chosen child because, a lot of the people in my family, they played the sport of football and everything, but they didn't make it so far. So they called me the chosen one.
Love it.
So growing up, did you only play safety or did you play other positions? What other positions were you playing? Which one was your favorite?
I came to safety at the beginning, my freshman year. So I was growing up. I played. I mean, a safety when you're young is really not a safety. Linebacker is a safety position for real. So I played outside linebacker. But then in my middle school years, I switched to corner. Corner's where I gained all of my man coverage skills. The corner taught me corner helped with my versatility in the safety position. So I came from 6th to 8th grade at corner. It was great. I was great at corner. But getting to Buford, KJ Bolden being my big cousin, and the way he mentored me, it just motivated me more to play the safety position because I knew that me playing the high post and me being able to come down in the box and tackle a lot more, that combined a lot with my linebacker and corner skills. So.
Hey, back up a second. Who's your cousin? You say
KJ Bolden.
Okay. All right. I know who he is. Yeah, man. So tell us about me and Mello have noticed a bit of a pattern when you have recruits and football players such as yourself that are being recruited by Ohio State and that got a good head on their shoulders, man. They're always surrounded by a good support group, right? A mom or a dad or family members that have come alongside them and taught them hard work and discipline and all kind of attributes like that a big time football player needs, man. Tell us about that, man. What's your support group like and who are they? Who's around you?
So my whole family's around me. My whole family makes sure I'm not in a distraction. But I would say the most impactful person is definitely my mom. My mom is strict with my life in and out. She doesn't let me go out on the weekends. She said if I go out on the weekends, it better be about football. It better be about football or school. School first. My mom checks my grades every day after school because she knows I either have a test, an assignment due, or something like that. So my mom is just so based on me just winning in life and not losing myself in a position where she knows I can
win. That's strong, lady. So I'm gonna back up a little bit. There's two things I wanted to ask. One, who's leading the recruiting process for you? Who's your main coach that you're talking to at Ohio State? And number two, how much pressure is KJ putting on you to go to Athens?
So I would say who's leading my recruiting process right now is Coach Matt G. We have a great bond. He has a great bond with my mom. When I came to the spring game, I missed him. Coming up. So I was coming up from the game. I seen him at the beginning and everything. And I was walking up fast trying to get in the locker room with the players and everything. So I missed him. But he came and found me still. But he seen my mom first. He spotted my mom out of the crowd. He came and pulled over. He talked to her. My mom said he talked about like 10 minutes, just talking about how life been and stuff like that, and chopping it up and stuff like that. But that's the thing that you need with a parent, because it shows my mom that he actually cares about what's going on with us. You know, him talking and checking up on how she's been. That's a big thing for me. So yeah. But KJ Bolden being my cousin, you know, KJ is he number one safety in college football. If I'm being biased, you know, but but he just tells me every day, like, if you want to be a dog, come play with the dogs. Like being at Georgia, I mean, they have a lot of outside distraction and everything, but he just tells me, like, it's a difference between those players. Like, you see players like him, no trouble. You won't hear about them unless they're on the field. He keeps himself silent and based on football and his academics. So he's telling me, like, it's a kill or be killed world out there. So I think me being there would definitely mold my career in the place where I want to be, because it just keeps me so level-headed on my mission and what I want to be doing.
Yeah, nice. So man, dude, when you're in the football field, I love asking this question.
Yeah.
You know, I played basketball a little bit growing up, and I always had a mentality,
Yeah.
right? When I was on the basketball court, man, I was super competitive, and I was one of those defenders that was just in your ear the whole time. It was, you know, it was very annoying. Yeah. But I played that mental game with you, because
Yeah.
wasn't always the most athletic, but I overcame that with my mental powers. But when you're on the field, man, walk us through your mentality as a football player. What keeps that drive going?
Yeah.
What keeps that competitive nature, that fire that you have to have on the football field?
Yeah, like I said, a killer be killed mentality every time. I read Kobe Bryant books, so my mentality is Mamba. I fight like it's no other. I fight like it's my last drive every play. You know, I'm talking on the field like like it's receivers line up against me. They already know what's going on, because I'm gonna give it to you the whole game. Like, you're gonna hear me the whole game. You drop a pass, even if I wasn't there, you're gonna hear me the whole game. Like, I'm just so passionate about the game of football. Everything I do on the field just shows.
Sound like a Jersey kid. Like,
Yeah.
you sound like Davidson Igbinosun on Ohio State. Us Jersey guys,
Yeah.
we talk. We're known for talking.
Yeah,
You
we
know
talk.
what I mean?
We talk the talk down here, and we're gonna play the game. We're gonna play the game
So,
for sure.
you said something that I find very interesting when you're
Mhm.
talking about covering receivers.
Yeah.
So, if you went to a school, right, and they said, well, we like you as safety, but we might have a need right here in terms of a nickel or star or a corner position, how comfortable would you feel being in that role?
I'm very comfortable. You know, I come from a place where I'm very versatile, so I'm up to the challenge anywhere. You know, my game is so impactful to any position I go, so I'm just up for the challenge anywhere.
Gotcha. So NASCAR, can you walk us through that moment? Because I can only imagine, man, you know, with the passion you have for football, that moment that you started getting them offers and realizing, hey, man, yes, my dreams can come true. How old are you? What was that moment? Who was your first offer? And tell us about some of the offers that you currently have as well.
First offer. I mean, I almost cried that day. My first offer came from an SEC school. It was Arkansas Razorbacks in the 8th grade. I was 14 years old. So being 14 and getting an offer like that, it was amazing. A Power 4 school being my first offer.
Right.
It was just like God did his thing, you know, God did his thing. So the day I got my offer, I was actually at an All-Star game, and my recruiting coach called me, and he was like, we got Arkansas here. And I was like, oh, that's great. They probably coming to see KJ. He was like, nah, they coming to see you. So he walks down, and I talked to the Arkansas coaches for a good bit, like an hour at least, and it was just about my game, because they had been watching me practice the whole week and everything. They were just so fantasized about how I was just in 8th grade. Like, everything I was doing, it just looked like I was so much older and not so much more prepared than everybody else. So first offer came in 8th grade. Then I just started building up from there. I got South Carolina, Michigan. Georgia was the 4th offer. Then it just came to Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Ole Miss. Ohio State came in a bunch then when they saw everybody got on me. Oregon came in a bunch. I think I got 15 my first week of high school. Yeah, so
that's crazy. You could just take the one from the team up north,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
see you at a track meet, and you can just light it on fire. We're gonna shoot it, and that's gonna be our new intro.
Nah, I just I'm 48 right now. My goal in prayer was to hit 50 because of 50 and the offer list is a kid from my hometown's dream. You know, it's just a hometown that I can show my neighborhood that you're able to do it. You're able to go out and you're able to achieve something in this world without just being stuck in where you're at. You know, so
Absolutely. So when it comes down to decision time, what are you looking for in a program when you're ready to make a pick?
I would say first off development. I would say first off development and long term development. Like I talk about football and all these things, but I want to know about life after football because football is not here forever, and that's a fact. Football is just not here forever. I want to know like what's going to go on after I'm done with football. Can I come back and finish my degree? Can I do other things like that? So how am I going to be in the world after? I want to be molded into a man where I come out into this world and I don't have any worries. No.
Yeah. Amen. So, NASCAR, you've mentioned God a lot. You know, we had a little conversation before we came on the air here. Can you explain what that means to you, your faith, and how you can incorporate that into football in this decision coming up?
Yeah, my faith means a lot to me. My mom got it didn't start so much about how my faith was this strong. You know, being young, like I just didn't understand what was the thing in God and Jesus. You know, I just learned to trust in the process. You know, growing up, my mom took me to church every Sunday. We used to go on Wednesdays too, just so I could get the Lord in through the week at school, keep my mind set, level headed. But it just started from you know, just being a young kid at 13 or 14, knowing that I needed guidance for something. I just didn't want to be wild in the world and just moving around, not knowing what to do. So I was just looking for guidance. You know, God being in my everyday life comes with how He is to me in football. I pray to God every morning when I wake up, every day before my games, every tournament I go to, just so I know that He's here with me, and I know that He's always just up by my side. You know.
Yeah. Is that a factor for you? I mean, there's different ways you can look at this, right? You can look at it like, hey, Jesus wants to use me to bring the faith to this football team, or Jesus wants me surrounded by like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
Is that a factor when it comes to some of these teams you're looking at?
That's a big factor. I mean, you know, down in Ohio State, Coach Day takes a big toll on Jesus. You know, he takes his mental health awareness program. He does a lot of things for his players to where he knows that they're level headed and they're always going to be okay with no worries about what they're going to do after school, after life, and everything. Coach Day does a great job with that. And I would say that I would call Coach Day out for that for sure. He does a great job with that.
Amen.
So what did you think of you said you've been to Ohio State a few times, right? Have you seen a practice or anything?
Yeah.
So what would you say about the culture and the practice? Because we always hear about the brotherhood. Do you ever feel that that's just talk, or can you feel it when you walk into the WAC?
When you walk into the WAC, you can feel it. You know, like the kids, the guys there on the team were talking to me like I was on the team already. You know, like they were just talking to me like, hey, you need anything, you good? Yeah, we got meetings. You better be in here before 5 minutes before it starts. Like they were just guiding me already the ways to where like when I come here, I'll just be ready. Like the DBs, like when I on my OV, the DBs are telling me like, we wake up for meetings at 4. So, yeah, we're coming out. You better be up.
Yeah, for sure, man. So, like I said, obviously we know you're being recruited by a lot of other schools. We are a Ohio State channel, so we like to get kind of the inside scoop on how Ohio State works. So can you walk us through like the process of like who reached out to you very first? When did they reach out to you? And how has that relationship grown in terms of who's reached out to you, in-home visits, maybe phone calls? Just walk us through the Ohio State recruiting process.
The Ohio State recruiting process is amazing. Like the way that those guys recruit, you can see why they're just national champions. Like they take everything that they do, and I mean that by saying like when after you leave from a visit, you got a long way home, they make sure you're okay. They make sure everything's going on with you in life besides football. They check up on everything you're doing. How are your grades? How are you doing? Like, are you okay, mentally okay? Are you physically okay? What's going on with you? Like, do you need anybody to be here right now? Like, it's just like those guys take so much pride in everything that I believe don't think they have to, and that really because they want to be the best that person they can be. So,
Yeah. I mean, that's good stuff, man. Mello, you got anything?
I got a whole bunch of stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm more of the I'm gonna ask some fun questions right now. We'll get back to the hard stuff. I said I'm gonna ask some fun questions right now. We'll get back to the harder stuff, the more serious stuff in a second.
What's that? Yeah, there's a pretty loud buzzing going on from somewhere right now.
Oh, that isn't over here.
Yeah, I don't know. And
I think he just lost service.
No, I think he's probably gonna try to come back in. Maybe.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
definitely for sure.
Somebody keeps coming in and like turning the lights on and off in the room and everything else. Let's see.
It's probably a UGA fan.
I'm back. All
right. So
That's
I just
cool,
wanted
man.
to keep it a little lighthearted.
Yeah.
Couple things. I feel like Gwinnett County has the best football in terms of the county and the country. Can you speak to this and why you think this is a fact?
I feel like it's a fact. You know, Gwinnett football and the coaches, I would say, the coaches in Gwinnett are just so down to earth and more player centered than everybody else. They're not worried about what they get out of getting the kid to a Power 5 school and everything. They're just worried about what the kid gets. Like, you know, they're just worried about how the education goes for the kids and how the life for the kid goes. They're just willing to put the kid in the best position they could be. And the athletes that come from Gwinnett, the athletes are just not like no other freak athletes who can do it all. Down to earth kids who just.
I think he keeps getting calls. We'll wrap this up when he comes back.
I gotta ask him one more thing. It'll be good.
We gotta wrap it up. He's
I just asked him.
What's up, bro?
So, I will.
Yeah. When he comes back on, we'll wrap it up. I think he keeps getting phone calls or something. I'm sure he's about to try to come back on. Yeah, here he is. Hey, NASCAR.
What's going off?
I know. Hey, that's all, man. We've been on it for 22 minutes. We'll just ask a couple wrap-up questions here, man. So tell us about getting towards the end of your recruiting process, man. Have you dropped a top team list, and when are you thinking about maybe pulling the trigger and committing to a team?
I'll be dropping the top team list very soon. I think at the end of May I'll drop one, probably May 31st or May 30th. But I'm gonna end it all and just end of July.
Yeah.
End of July, beginning of August. Me and my mom made a great deal on that. So
cool. Well, hey, NASCAR, we appreciate the heck out of you coming on here, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing to hear from you. Amazing to give us the insight on the Ohio State recruiting process. Mello, you got anything else?
So
hey, I appreciate you. I'm gonna catch you at the track. I definitely want to ask about
yes, sir.
Your relationship with Deuce and Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys all know each other, or communicate at all.
Those are my guys. We actually played on the FBU team together. We traveled a lot together. We played on the #1 FBU team in the nation. We had Julian Lewis at the quarterback, so we were
killing.
Yeah, we were killing.
So I like to call Gwinnett the Gwinnett County Buckeyes because we come in here playing our flag.
Yeah. Caleb led the way.
Oh yeah, Caleb, K-Mac, Edric. Know Edric.
Edric actually is like I'm very close with Edric. Edric just came back to Beaufort right now. He's out of school, so he just came back to Beaufort right now. He came out to practice the other day, and he was just talking my head off about the Buckeyes. You know how great it is and everything that's going on up there.
He's a beast. He about to kill.
He's about to tear the world up this year. I promise you that. I promise you.
Hey, so NASCAR, kind of a hard question. What type of chance does Ohio State have at landing your commitment?
They have a great chance with me. They have a great chance with me.
Good, man.
Everything that they do just fits into my personality,
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it, man. NASCAR, we appreciate you, man. We'll keep up with you, man. Buckeye Nation, man. Follow this young man. Follow his career. Watch what he does. Potential Buckeye in the future. We'll find out here shortly. But NASCAR, take care. God bless, man. Appreciate you joining the show.
Thank you.
Look for me and Dad to be at one of your games, too, this fall. We're going to pull up. I think they play Grayson this year, so that might be a good game to go to.
Yeah, it would be. Well, we got some more stuff for you guys, man. As you can see in the title, we got a little bit of news today, a little nugget. I'm sure you guys saw it over on Twitter. We got a little bit of insight into exactly what is going on over there with Team Up North. We've talked about a certain subject, and that is how teams are recruiting these recruits this year and how that has changed. And we've kind of, blown over this and haven't really talked about the impact that this is going to have on even current commits to teams and current players on teams. And that is this mindset that teams are starting to account for this salary cap that could possibly come for nil. And it is affecting teams. We're watching teams like Oregon that used to just outright buy recruits and win the Jared Curtises and the Jackson Cantwells of this world by just offering more money. Well, that has changed, man. Colleges are expecting a decision very soon that is going to change the way that they're able to pay these players. I have no idea what that looks like. I haven't done a lot of research into that. But that's what we're hearing, what is affecting our old buddies from the north, the Team Up North up there. As we know, man, they just keep getting brought up because, they just keep doing things the wrong way. Sharon Moore, show cause this and that, man. And now we're hearing from inside, the athletic center of their school that nil is getting a little bit scary there. As far as players receiving payments, as far as them being able to hold their promise on what they were giving players. And one of the reasons we're hearing for that is because of this potential judgment that's going to come down on what they're able to pay players. And, we're digging, trying to find a little more information on that, but specifically, who's it going to affect? The player that just joined the team that you're paying the most for, $12 million. I don't know the exact details of that deal. Is that $4 million for 3 years or what that is? But if you're getting a cap on nil and you're paying one of them $4 million, that's a lot. That's going to be a big percentage of the cap that you're allowed. And not only that, man, with the news that's going on around that program, I mean, be honest, how many of their fans and contributors are going to want to contribute to a team that they really don't know who is going to be there, what AD, what head coach, the whole 9 yards. But we're going to dig in and find some more information, but it's not looking too hot as of right now, Mello.
Yeah, we also heard that they're already missing whatever arrangements they have with Bryce Underwood. They're not meeting the hard dates for. So that could be something to keep an eye out on. It could get really pretentious up there. Also, if the head coach is gone because he has a show cause, then guess what? What that does, the rest of the coaching staff's going to go in. That the new AD is going to come in, want to hire his own coach. The head coach that he hires is going to want to hire his own coach. So you're looking at a whole tear down and rebuild there. And that's going to take some time. And that's not even to factor in if they get bowl bans or anything like that, reduction in scholarship. So it's something to keep an eye on. I'm not going to lose any sleep. They did it to themselves. They lied about what they were doing. They tried to be sneaky. They wanted to win by any cost, whether it's cheating or not. And you see, the saddest part is that their fan base are making excuses like it's not that bad. You're watching people having full-blown meltdowns on the internet that are grown adults, crying and screaming with glasses on, turning red. Like you're turning the color of a tomato. It's not that serious, bro. Most of those players on the team don't know you, and if they do, they probably don't like you. So at the end of the day, I just don't understand what they're doing up there. And I definitely don't feel bad about them.
you reap what you sow, man. And if you're going to cheat and you're going to lie, and then you're going to play the victim and act like you're being picked on, dude, you're going to have to, reap the effects of that. And that's what you're seeing. I mean, look at the past week of this program. Just in the past week, their coaches are not on the road recruiting, and one of the most important times of the year for coaches to be on the road recruiting, because there's not going to be another opportunity for this. The season's starting. So to act like that's not a big deal is just insanely wild. Then your president leaves to go to Florida. And, if you really dig into that, there's certain financial gains that presidents of colleges have, right? It's not a 401k. It's a different type of financial package that they get, but they only get it if they complete their contract, because, colleges are not for profit, right? So it's not a 401k or something. It's some different type of thing. I'm not a whiz at that stuff, but to not finish your contract, you're giving up a lot of money, and rumor is he's taking a pay cut to go there as well. So to act like that's not a big deal, and to act like that has nothing to do with what is going on inside that program is crazy. And then the next day, your head coach gets a self-implemented show cause for the third and fourth games of the season. Okay, so it's time to wake up, not just for the scum fans, but for all those other fans out there that don't want to believe that the hammer is coming, and don't want to believe that the NCAA is going to handle their business. Those out there. I mean, I still hear people saying they don't have faith in the NCAA. Well, this is a different type of case, and it's just like, dude, I mean, how much more obvious does this need to get? This isn't a tipsy-turvy type of situation. It is a situation where the facts are known. This is not hearsay. This is factual evidence that they had a advantage against who they were playing because of a cheating scandal that they ran, as well as all the other stuff. I mean, how many more signs do you need that something is not going right in your program? So when we hear that the nil money might be drying up and you're not, standing up on your word on what you're going to play these players, yeah, we don't have proof. But why would we not believe that? I mean, you are self-imposing 2-game show causes for your head coach. Your president's leaving. You have all these recruiting. I mean, your past head coach got a 4-year show cause and a 1-year suspension for recruiting violations. You guys haven't even been touched for your repeat offenders, lack of institutional control, and 6 level 1 violations, and then 7 level 2 violations.
There's no hammer coming. Nothing's going to happen.
You aren't even there yet. So it's time to wake up, man. It's time to just eat it, live with it, and start to regrow. Start to regrow your program, start to regrow your fan base. Wake up, smell the roses. It is what it is. Stuff happens. You dug your bed, deal with it, and move on. You know what I mean? You guys can move on. 10 years down the road, we'll have a conversation about how you're back in it, right? But you got to wait 10 years because you just dug yourself. You went from maybe waiting a couple years by just admitting what you did, working with the NCAA, coming out. Then recruits get to see, hey, this is an honest program with integrity. Parents get to see it. Hey, I don't mind. People screwed up. It was the coaches there. Those coaches are gone now. It's time to move on. But instead, you chose the other route. And now getting rid of all these people isn't even going to work. You've just dug yourself in a hole to go to say that, hey, this M right here, it means lying and cheating, right? You could have said, hey, this group of coaches here, they were the liars and the cheaters. But now you've stood so strong on this and spit in the NCAA's face. And not only that, and you spit in all these families and players' faces that you affected their lives directly. You know what I mean? Ryan Day, and not just Ohio State people either. Other fans that you beat up on, or other players and teams and coaches that got fired and lost their jobs and transferred because you cheated. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. So you're going to reap from that. And you chose this avenue, right? So you went from showing that you can be responsible adults and handle a mistake that you made. Listen, this is coming from somebody Dude, I've been to prison a couple times. I've made some mistakes in my life. I owned up to them. I dealt with it. Not always. You know, when I was younger, I didn't do it. What are you talking about? I didn't do it. Man, I did it. And I learned a lot, you know, through the times when I actually accepted my punishment and I went through it. You learn a lot, you know, and it shows you the type of character that you have. But now you've done this and you're sitting here fighting and you're still doing it. A show cause for the third and fourth games of the season. And you're seriously going to try to comprehend that that's not going to infuriate the NCAA.
Well, they're doing a self-imposed suspension, which to me is the same as admitting guilt, because if you didn't do it, you're not going to self-impose a suspension. And that excuse of we're hoping that the NCAA will be more lenient on me, it just goes out the window. Because if that was the case, you would have done it a year or two ago. You wouldn't be waiting right now.
And I think Mello is going to win some money on the bet that Bryce Underwood is not going to play.
He's never taken a snap under center
football
in Ann Arbor.
I mean, you know, he's a really good football player. If he goes to the right program, he's going to be a star one day. But, you know, there's some serious doubt floating in the air on whether you can live up to you know, his standards of the type of football player that he is. Yeah, I don't like the team he's at, but the dude is an absolute monster. I mean, he could be, number one draft pick type of talent one day. The dude is a boss on the football
you know what's
field
sad?
With a lot of talent.
We're not going to get the TSC from the state of Ohio, against Bryce Underwood from the state of Team Up North, or whatever you want to call them, the Up North state. You're not going to get that competition because I think Bryce Underwood is going to be gone before the season starts. Yeah, that's my personal belief. Yeah. I mean, all signs are pointing to it. You're missing hard deadlines with him. You're about to get blasted into another universe, and he's just going to leave. Why does he need to stay there? If you haven't noticed, LSU has fixed their NIL. If you don't think they'll jump back in there and snatch him back up, you are out of your mind.
Yeah. Well, enough on them, man, because we are the Ohio State Buckeyes. We are the national champs, and we got a lot of information to share with you guys in terms of recruiting and in terms of our current team. One of them being the D tackle backups. What the heck are we going to do? Oh my God. You know, everybody freaking out, man. The media is still typing up freaking articles today about it, dude. I'm just like, gosh darn, man. Can we see these guys play a snap of football before we just automatically assume that they're trash and we have no like second string D tackles? I get it. I get that. Okay, so this is the truth, right? They may have not lived up to what we thought they were going to do so far. We may have seen some tape from last year. We may have heard Ryan Day say some things about the transfer portal, and you could take what he said and go one of two directions with that. Most have chosen the absolute most negative, scariest direction that you can possibly pick as a fan. Most have chosen that path, but that doesn't change the truth that we have, you know, they've been training. They've changed. They see the opportunity that they have. This is the Ohio State University, just packed full of NFL coaches. Larry Johnson, the absolute legend. So I'm choosing to give them a chance. One of the players that I believe, right, we had his mom on here, talk to her about it, and he sees the opportunity that he has. He had a lot of snaps last year early, got a lot of potential. This is the first time in his life that he has fully focused on football. Ole Miss baseball player, big-time baseball player, was ranked, you know, like top 100 baseball recruits, I do believe. I could be off there a little bit.
National championship baseball player.
Yeah, Tywone Malone. You know what I mean? We are hearing really good things right now about he is in the best physical condition of his life. He is taking this extremely serious. He hears people, he sees people, and he also sees the opportunity that he has. He made a decision a couple years ago that football is his future. And you know the type of people that Ohio State lets into their room, they don't play no games, man. They are serious about their business. So I'm going to choose to have some faith, man, that, you know, Tywone Malone can show up and show out. He's one of them that I'm excited about. So don't take my little rant personally, because I've been on both sides of this. I went the negative route too. So I totally understand that. You know, I'm just choosing to go this other route now. Why? Makes me happier, man. And I like having faith in people and players that they can show up and show out and prove Buckeye Nation wrong. That's just the route I'm going to go. And, you know, we'll see, man. We'll see. But, you know, that's a lot of time to be around some pretty good coaches to teach you to play up to the level that we're needing you for. I mean, you know, I can talk to him blue in the face about the fact that I just believe that if Ohio State was that worried about defensive tackle depth, that they would have found a defensive tackle. I mean, that's just my ultimate, you know, thing there. So, Mello, what you got to say about that?
Absolutely, exactly what you said. We're hearing that Tyvon Malone is going to be a factor. That also calms my nerves. What else calms my nerves? If you haven't watched the spring game, I implore you to go watch it again. I've watched it 15 times now. Don't judge me. I'm that nuts. I don't really watch TV. I just watch like spring games of Oregon, Ohio State, and stuff like that. But our D-line didn't do that bad. We didn't run any. We ran a stunt one time the entire game, and it resulted in an interception. We played cover 3 and man the whole time, and the D tackles got double teamed the whole time. And people were like, they got pushed off the ball. They better get pushed off the ball. We have the best O-line room in the country. If they're not pushing these defensive tackles off the ball in the double team, and it's repetitive, then there's a problem with the O-line. That's the way you should look at it. Like, they did exactly what they should have done. But when it was one-on-one, it was either a stalemate or the defense was getting a little knockback. So I think our D-line is fine, especially now that we have Bo Atkinson. I always thought going into the season, so did Dev, that we really needed more help at the DN in terms of depth, that position group, than the defensive tackle. And to be honest, I would say we're right, Dev, because where did Coach Day go get help at? The defensive end position. He didn't go get help in the defensive tackle position. So I don't know where it's coming from, why the beat is pushing it. There, I heard people say, well, Coach Day said it. Well, every coach is going to say, yeah, we need improvement here or there.
When you're asked about it, you're going to answer the question. I mean, that's what you're going to do.
He wants to have more depth there. We just lost Tyleek and Ty Hamilton. And granted, we have Edric and K-Mac, but that was our backups last year. I don't know if Tyvon Malone is going to be at the same level as K-Mac, but he could be close.
Shout out the dude, man. Thanks for the $20, bro. He said, Devin Mello, keep up the good fight. Dev, my first wife dyes her beard too.
See, everybody says you look like Coach Day.
No,
when
dude,
we were out at the Rose Bowl, there were a whole bunch of people calling him Coach Day, a young Coach Day.
There's some white hairs in there, man. By the way, Chad, I got a new camera. Can you tell? I got a new camera. It's like a 4K, really nice camera. On my end, I see way more clear. Like, I had to look in the mirror before I got on here and make sure I was good to go, because you can like see everything now.
The only thing I think you might need a little cover up for right here.
What do you mean?
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. No, the camera is crispy.
Yeah, listen. Don't take offense to my little rant. Like I said, I've been on both sides of it, and I totally understand the other side. If Coach Day brought it up 3 times, I watched him. I promise you, I understand. It's just, you know, you can pick 2 ways to go here. I'm choosing the other way. A lot of people use the fact that because I always say, you know, they would have been looking in the first portal window too for a defensive tackle if they were that worried about it, because they had all last year to know what they were going to have this year as well. And a lot of people say, well, Hero Kanu left after the national title game. They didn't know. That's one player. That's just one player that left. And we saw him get in the game too. So to act like Hero Kanu was so much better than Tyvon Malone or anybody else just kind of blows my mind, because I didn't see that. I didn't see Hero Kanu going out there and making a bunch of plays to get me excited about him playing this year. I see the potential if he works his butt off in the offseason and Larry Johnson steps up and coaching him. But again, all these guys are worried about. I mean, they were the 3-4 deep last year. They weren't getting the coaching and the experience that these starters and second string got. They are this year, so they have that opportunity. Another player that is making some big time moves this offseason, James Peoples, man. You know, you've been seeing some updates on Twitter about him, reached out, got some information, and I was told that this dude might be the hardest working player on the team, if not, you know, on the top of the list. You got the Jeremiah Smiths of the world. Well, James Peoples is in that category of he is about his business and he is working his tail off. So, you know, I'm excited to see him, CJ Donaldson and him this year. You know, I made my little statement that Don't be surprised, man. Everybody's expecting, James Peoples to be the number one carrier this year, but I'm kind of putting my money on CJ Donaldson because the things I'm hearing there. But James Peoples, the work ethic this dude has is going to give you nothing but success in life. So he's succeeding when he's going to be on the field, and nobody's going to stop him.
And the only thing I'm going to say about the running backs, don't call me crazy. I really do have some inside source that has told me flat out that and it sounds crazy. I thought it was crazy too myself when he told me the run game is going to be better this year than last year. And he's adamant about it. Adamant. And I'm like, how? We had Trey and we had Q. And they're like, just watch. So I'm just going to watch. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying I co-sign it. That's just what I was told. And I'm going to watch. So now you heard it here on the Buckeye Boys. So if the run game is actually better, then the source information was really good.
By the way, real fast, a little bit off topic here. Shout out Sean Schrock and TG, man. They interviewed RJ Day yesterday over there on the Ohio Podcast. Their show's called The Buckeye Lounge, I believe. Go check that interview out, man. It's really cool. Hopefully we can get RJ on this show one day. Really cool dude to interview. So shout out them guys. They're killing it over there. Go check. Yeah. Go check them out for sure.
Check out RJ Day's highlight film as well. That kid can sling it. If he was 6'2", he's coming to Ohio State.
So those are updates on the current players on the team. On to some recruiting updates, man. And I'm going to start off with maybe tooting my own horn just a little bit, the Buckeye Boys horn a little bit. Felix Ojo. Got a little information today that things are still looking very, very good for Ohio State. You got Texas, right? That is right there. This is an Ohio State-Texas battle, and hopefully Felix can join us for a show here soon. I reached out to him. He said he'd be more than happy to come back on. But what we're hearing is don't be surprised if you start seeing some crystal balls come out for Ohio State. You can choose on how much you weigh the crystal balls. Me and Mello talked about this 3 months ago. My first ever Buckeye boom or boys boom was for Felix Ojo to be a Buckeye.
And it hasn't changed.
So, from the information that I have, Ohio State is just out recruiting Texas right now on the relationship front and showing Felix Ojo how much of a priority he is. I believe Felix Ojo is on that, top 2 or 3 list for Ryan Day personally. Ryan Day goes to Caleb Downs and in that meeting, the head coach can't be everywhere. So he's got to pick and choose these recruits that he goes and sees and spends the time calling. He can't call and see everybody. Felix Ojo's on that list. He just is. He hears from a lot of the coaches every single week, not just Tyler Bowen, but from Coach Locke, Brian Hartline, Ryan Day. They are after him hard. Obviously Texas, they're going to pay a little more, but I think that's settling down a little bit. I think recruits are starting to see, how when you get a flashy new toy or the new phone comes out and everybody runs for the brand new iPhone. And then after a while, it kind of dies down. That's like these big nil payments. They came out and everybody's eyes were all over these. And then you start to sit back and look at the draft and see 14 Buckeyes go. And then that kind of calms down and be like, oh, maybe I don't need to get paid the most money just on this first payment. Maybe I should go somewhere and invest into my future, becoming an NFL player, because you're seeing some of these contracts that these Buckeyes are signing. It's just like, well, okay, you're going to pay me $200,000 more than the Buckeyes are going to, but they just put 14 players in the draft. You know what I mean? And there's other colleges like that, Texas, good as well. But what I'm saying is, I'm thinking that shine's wearing off a little bit for various reasons. Not only that, teams are recruiting like they're expecting that salary cap is the best way I can put it. You got that factor lying in, and you got the other factor of watching the draft and, seeing even players like Denzel Burke. He was like ranked 199th in the nation. He went in the 4th, 5th round, something like that. He went right where he was projected to go, signing a pretty big contract there to play ball. So, I mean, we'll see. But I'm liking where we're standing with Felix Ojo right now. And I know that we have some, trepidations on getting our hopes up for big-time offensive tackles. He's gone. That's all I'll say. He's not here anymore, so things are going to change. Mello?
Yep. Our Buckeye Boom stands with Felix Ojo. We believe personally that he's going to be in the class from our conversations with him and also the conversations we've had in the Woody. I wanted to answer this question, but you did say one thing about the draft, and that was a direct reflection on what just happened on Sunday with the Matter Day wide receiver Caden Dixon-Wyatt and his push-up of his commitment and committing to Ohio State. And I think it was Coach Dirt from SFE that said,
shout out Coach Dirt.
Yeah, shout out Coach Dirt. That's one of my friends. We're working on something right now with him. But he tweeted out, if you're a wide receiver, you go to Ohio State, point blank, period. And this was before the commitment. And then he talked about after watching the draft, Caden Dixon-Wyatt decided Ohio State is where he needed to be. Because if your number 2 wide receiver is a top 20 pick and he's always been a number 2, he's never been a 1 at Ohio State, that's the place for him. Because that's how much the NFL scouts trust wide receiver development at Ohio State. And Brian Hartline, who is the GOAT, and he is absolutely, without a discussion, the best developer of wide receivers and assistant coach and position coach in America. I wanted to hit on this. I don't know if you mind. Can I speak on that? I feel like we're
sure.
On this.
Yeah.
So shout out to Vader for the question. What about Braylon Womack? If you noticed, we already put out a Buckeye boom for Braylon Womack a while ago. That has not changed. He fits the culture perfectly. I believe when he commits in August is going to be to the Ohio State University. He loves the coaching staff. He loves the players. He loves the culture. He loves everything Columbus, the city of Columbus, has to offer to him. And that's another thing people aren't realizing with Ohio State. Ohio State's not going to give you the biggest NIL bag coming out of high school. They're just not. But what Ohio State will do, if you get on the field and you prove it and you show it, they're going to hook you up with some extra money, and all the companies, the tech companies and the companies in Columbus, which is, by the way, the fastest growing city in America, they're going to come after and offer you deals as well and be sponsors. So the earning potential at Columbus is second to none. So kids are also looking at this. Their parents are also looking at this. They're not just looking at that one-time NIL fee, because a lot of kids have gone to other schools, Georgia, Oregon, wherever, and probably got a bigger bag coming out of high school. But a lot of those players are not making the same amount of money as these Ohio State players are right now that are on the team and producing.
Yeah, for sure. I'm still with you on Womack, hearing nothing but positive things there. And you're about to see, I think the national media is catching up with us on that too. You're going to see some picks start flowing in there as well. But speaking of the safety position, it's pretty wild because, you know, we had several videos way back when talking about, you know, Matty P signing the number 1, number 2, and number 5 safety in the nation, and Blaine Bradford, Braylon Womack, and Simeon Caldwell. Well, that's now changed. We can no longer change that because we can no longer say that because of our wonderful, lovely friends. They're really good at what they do, man, and evaluations. They don't have any bias, no political stuff's involved. It's strictly about watching a player on the field, seeing what we can do, especially since we're in season now, so they could really see what these players. Oh, wait, it's not season yet, is it? They're not on the season hasn't started yet. But Blaine Bradford has been dropped down to the number 7 safety in the nation on 247's board. So I don't know. You know, I mean, there's no games going on or anything, but, you know, unless I am like blind or something, I could have swore that 247 had him as the number 1 and on 3 had him as the number 2. They just flip-flopped Braylon Womack and Blaine Bradford, but he committed to the Ohio State Buckeyes, so he's no longer going to generate clicks. So let's take him down a little bit. He's still the 58th player in the nation, which goes to show you this safety class this year and the 2026 recruiting classes is pretty legit. Number 58 player in the nation, number 7 safety, shows you how many, you know, you got 7 safeties in the top 58 players in the nation. I don't remember it being like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but can
I touch on that real quick?
Yes.
So before we came on with NASCAR, we were behind the scenes. He knows Blaine Bradford, And he was even saying how much of a joke it was that they dropped him. So that should just let you know, even the kids find you guys as jokes. And as more shows like Dev and mine pop up, those people are going to kind of go obsolete, I feel like, in the coming years. Kids are going to get tired of you playing with their rankings. Just saying, maybe you should think about that.
Yeah, and putting out articles based off what you think because you ask questions leaning a certain way. I mean, I go back to that
Chris
the
Henry.
biggest joke of all is that Chris Henry interview with that Joker, whatever, on
Josh
On
Newberry
3.
from Con 3.
And then a month later, he shuts down his recruitment, like shoved him in a locker, dude, because he wanted to. I mean, he was literally trying to get him to decommit from Ohio State right there. Talk about how bad the weather is and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, just interview the recruit, bro. Interview him. This isn't about you or your idea about where he should go or because you want more clicks and you want to make this interview sound like he could possibly flip so the next article you put out gets a bunch of clicks. I mean, get real with yourself. Interview the kid. Get to know him. Hear his story and let him commit where he wants to commit, dude. Get off your freaking click box, dude. I mean, the crap is ridiculous.
But we gotta thank people like him because I firmly believe this is why recruits are starting to reach out to us more because they see our style and that we're laid back with them and we're not pushing them or forcing them in any type of direction whatsoever. We're gonna obviously ask them questions about Ohio State, but we're not trying to mislead them.
We don't want to lie. I mean, Mello, you push them pretty hard to Ohio State.
Man, not really. You think so?
No.
Hold up. You think so?
No, listen, man. We're a Ohio State show. All you do is you let them know the facts. I mean,
yes.
Every recruit, you 100% tell them Columbus is the fastest growing city in the nation. Every single one that comes on here, they get told that.
I need to know if they want to be in real estate and all that because we got OG Walt and Tyler right there. They could go holler at them. I'm trying to make a love connection. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the only team that we might negatively talk about is the team up north. You saw the face I made when he brought them up, but yeah, I mean, we don't do that, man. At least, that's just not. We legit want to get to know these kids and hear who they are as people. It intrigues me. And if you're new to the show, you know why, man. I went through some struggles in life, man, and a ministry called Teen Challenge saved my life. And I spent the next 3-4 years of my life helping, kids this age, overcome problems and addictions in their life and meet Jesus and move on. And listen, that's one of the greatest joys I feel in my life is seeing people succeed, especially the future of this world, the future of this country. These young men succeed in life and bring other people behind them. That's I seriously get a lot of joy watching Ohio State and Ryan Day and what they do with these young men, because dude, this world is crazy, bro. There is, so many things that can lead these gentlemen in the wrong direction. And the problem with this is when you get kids like this caliber, so the world idolizes athletes. Yeah. So when you get the Jeremiah Smiths of this world, just think if Jeremiah Smith was a different person and started going out partying every weekend and, doing different things. There are young kids right now that idolize Jeremiah Smith. And if he buys a shirt, they're buying a shirt. If he buys shoes, they're buying shoes. If they see him doing something, they're doing something. So it really does, affecting Jeremiah Smith like Ohio State does, in turn affects all these kids and even grown-ups that idolize these dudes and want to do what they're doing. So that's our heart behind it. And I hope that some people can grab a hold of that and follow this direction that recruiting is going now, because this whole crystal ball thing is dead. All that stuff's dead, man. And it's time to just starting to get to know these recruits for who they are, let them speak for themselves, because that's real life. That's reality. That's what really matters. A crystal ball does not matter, man. It just doesn't. Now we turn them in here. We got our boys booms here.
But we're a little more sourced up, and we know a little bit more than even some of when it comes to Ohio State, at least, than some of these national writers. The most egregious thing that and this is the last thing I'm going to talk on this, that Josh Newberg did was after Chris Henry shut down his recruitment, He said, keep your eyes open. He might reopen it, like he's shutting it down for now. And that's only because Ohio State feared that Oregon was a true contender and was about to flip him. So they forced him to shut down his recruitment. What? Do you know who Brian Hartline is? When has Brian Hartline ever told a recruit to shut down his recruitment because he was scared? He let J.J. Smith go on the world tour. And he's the best high school player we've seen come out of college in probably 30 years. What are you talking about, you clown?
Now, let me say this. We just went on a rant about Josh.
Yes.
Me personally, I don't know the dude personally. He could be a great person. I'm talking about in this field, his job. I mean, he could be getting directed by his bosses to do this and have no say. Dude could be an absolutely phenomenal person that really does care about, so we don't know. I'm just speaking off what I saw in these interviews and stuff, but that doesn't mean him as a person, is reflective of how he's handling. You got a job to do. You got a boss telling you to do something. You got to provide for your family. You're going to do it. So, some more recruiting updates here. Shout out Funky Buck over on the Scoop board. Dropped a little nugget. If you're not subscribed to the Scoop board over there, I would advise you go do so if you're into inside information and recruiting tidbits. Running back recruiting. Savion Hyder. OSU believes they are leading at this point in time. It's between Georgia, Tennessee, and OSU. There's another team that is on that list as well, but we're not feeling like they're in the race whatsoever, and that is the team up north. Derek Cooper, Georgia, OSU battle. As of right now, Carson Baker. OSU feels like they're the clear leaders on this one. He's coming on our show next week, so I'll let you decide for yourselves. And then Favor Akey. There's this interesting debate going on now about Favor Akey on whether he's a take or not at Ohio State. That is new to me. That is new information to me. I've never heard that. I've always heard, he's an Ohio kid. If Ohio State offers an Ohio kid, you got to be real careful when you're making that offer. I think if he wants to commit, the Buckeyes would take him. I think he's in the class. So I think you could come down to either Hyder or Cooper paired with, Favor Akey. But honestly, if I had to pick right now who the running backs were getting, it's Carson Baker and Favor Akey, which would be an absolutely elite class. I put Carson Baker up there with Derek Cooper. I put Savion Hyder in his own little category. He's kind of a, they're talking about, Ohio State has Savion Hyder as one of the best football players, period, in this class, regardless of position. That's something I heard as well. I don't know if I share that sentiment or not, but I'm not some grand expert at evaluating these kids either. So Mello, anything to add to that?
Nope. Carson Baker, he's on that 4x100 team. I think they ran the third fastest 4x100 in the nation. They have a kid on there that runs a 10 flat 100 meter. If you don't know what that is, that's absolutely flying. If he wanted to, he could quit football and go ahead and train for the Olympics and actually probably make it and medal. So yeah, Carson Baker is going to be a good one to talk to. I want to get his times and we can compare it. So Buford and Langston Hughes are going to run against each other in states. That's going to be incredible. I'm going to just be honest. Langston Hughes is going to win, but that's neither here nor there, but that's all I had to add to that.
Yeah, I was talking to Carson earlier. He's about to run states and track. Saw a couple of videos today of him training. So
they're ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, shout out. You're looking pretty fast, dude. So he's pretty serious.
He is. I think he runs a 10-4.
Yeah. Yo, shout out Aunt Chris. It's your birthday
Aunt
today, Aunt Chris. Yeah, she turned 72
Happy
today.
Birthday.
Shout out Aunt Chris, 72 years old.
She's 60.
Oh, shoot.
You can't put out that
Chris.
fake information.
That's my bad.
Fake news.
My bad, Chris. Honestly, you know what I mean? That was a mistake. She literally texted me and said, your Aunt Chris is now city. She's 60.
Listen, bro, you better chill out before they take off those Chinese tariffs and then let Phil Knight go crazy again. Over there with the NIL. Don't piss off JD, please.
Hey, Aunt Chris, I love you, man. You got to come. Hey, listen, I took my Aunt Chris on a boat ride one time, right? I had a boat. By the way, I'm about to buy another boat. The thing is sick. But anyway, yeah, Chris, I'm buying a new boat. It's better than the last one, so come on down. But listen, so we go out on this boat. She was like, Devin, I need to see dolphins and I need to see manatees. And this is how the Lord works, because I've been out on the water a bunch, and every once in a while I'll see a dolphin, and every once in a while I'll see manatees. Dude, we go on this boat ride, and literally a pod of 20 dolphins is following the boat everywhere. She'll attest to this too.
Yeah.
It was one of the coolest experiences ever. I ran us aground a couple times. You know, tide got real low, so I ran us right into the water. I had to jump out of the boat, push us off, and then we go down the river. And she's like, I need to see a manatee. I need to see a manatee. And we find a manatee with mom with its baby just sitting there chilling. And I'm just like, dude, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord, for allowing, this moment to happen with my family. Cause I didn't always have the best relationship with my family because of me being an idiot, but and then the Lord does this. We see a pod of dolphins and a manatee and a baby manatee. It's an experience I'll never forget. Hopefully, she'll come on a boat with me again. We didn't die, but we did run aground a couple times. But
man, you should have hopped out and swam with the dolphins, man. You wrestled gators. At the
dolphins.
Did you swim with them?
No, I would have, but I was driving, and nobody else on that boat could drive a boat. I mean,
you should have put it right in neutral, hopped off, pet one of the dolphins, and hopped back on. Because if you could wrestle a gator, you could pet a dolphin.
Angie was on the boat with us, and I just bought I'm buying a new boat, and first thing Angie said is, I'm not getting on the boat with you. She said,
tell her she could drive. She'll do it. Tell her she could drive.
Yeah, I think I talked her into it today. But Chris, by the way, Angie said that I drove the boat super crazy. Yeah. And that's why she's not going to get on this new boat. Did I? I don't think I did, because you guys were on the boat with me. I didn't want to scare you guys to death. But
Deb, don't make me start talking Rose Bowl driving experiences with me and Brad in the car with you. Listen, Brad chose to go to sleep because he was scared for his life. Anybody in the chat, Deb drives like Crash Bandicoot. Like, I'm like, bro, I got kids. I got a family that loves me. I got to see my daughter play soccer in college. Like, come on, I'm trying to make it back to Georgia, bro. We out here to watch the Rose Bowl.
Dude, did we get where we needed to get super fast?
Yes, by the grace of the Lord. And you know this. You just said, Lord, take the will.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, that's the perfect. He's NASCAR Dev. We got NASCAR Mccoy and NASCAR Dev now. That's it.
Hey, I entered a dirt track race one time, built a dirt track car with my buddy, and he asked if I wanted to run the heat laps, and I did, dude, and flipped the car out of the arena the very first time I got in it. Like $100,000 car. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're going to move on to one last Ohio State recruiting tidbit, man. Jordan Thomas, the number one cornerback prospect for
Ohio State out of Bergen Catholic.
Yeah, but what's
Quincy
our coach's
Porter
name?
School.
What's our coach's name? Coach Walt.
Yeah,
Coach Walt, man. He said in a little interview today that it's Auburn, Scum, Ohio State, Notre Dame. I found it interesting because with what he said about Ohio State, he said Ohio State told me I'm their number one priority as far as corners goes, and he feels that way. He didn't say that about any of the other teams, so I feel very strongly that this is an Ohio State lean. And me and Mel are going to do something different, man. We're going to stream on Buckeye Scoop and Buckeye Boys. We are going to be doing that commitment live. We'll pull it up on the screen here, hit mute on it, and we'll watch this together as a Buckeye family live, and we'll see if we can put a little bit of luck into this situation and get them to commit to the Buckeyes. So,
absolutely.
Mello, anything to add?
JT is a real one, man. Quincy Porter was his teammate. I like where we sit on this one. I feel like he's going to be a Buckeye. He was and is the number one target for OG Walt and has been for a while. So maybe that's a little bit of why Albert Hill might have not felt the love that he felt he should be getting and decided to go to USC. But I also don't think that commitment's over. But as you can see, how I was asking NASCAR McCoy if he ever thought that he could play the nickel or the star position or corner, it was for a reason, because I strongly feel Braylon Womack is in this class. So if you have Braylon Womack, Simeon Caldwell, and Blaine Bradford, I mean, that's a lot of safeties. And then to take a fourth one, Now, if the fourth one could play DB, then you could take all four. And that's where I was going with that one.
Yeah, there's honestly two positions in this recruiting class that, not that I'm lost on them, but it's just like I'm waiting to see. And it's cornerback and defensive line that I'm like, okay, I know Jordan Thomas. And then Justice Fitzpatrick, you don't hear much about him, though. But it's like, okay, so are we planning on taking that many corners? I know we're loaded at corner, and our future at corner looks extremely bright. But you know, OG Walt wants to get in there and bring what, 2 or 3 at least, possibly 4 in with the type of defense that we run there. I mean, I know we're loaded at safety. We're going to get even more loaded at safety. So it's like, man, I wonder where the corner position is going. And as long as we win our number one, he's the 19th. He's rated the 19th corner in the nation, the number 185th player in the nation. But the fact that he is Ohio State's number 1 target leads me to believe they might be a little bit off there on their eval. I'm just going off that, but yeah. Dude, I feel like I've literally been talking for 5 hours straight.
Well, we forgot to do trivia yesterday on Scoop, so we're going to have to do trivia tonight. One question. Explain to the people what the trivia is for again, for all the new listeners that we might have.
If you win stuff. So listen, we do a trivia thing, man. You're behind a little bit. Mello, you explain it, dude.
I'm about to right now while you look up the question. So what we do here is we're doing trivia competition. The person that gets the most right about, I think it's 2 weeks before the Washington game, we're going to buy you a ticket to go to the Washington game. You're responsible for your food, travel, and wherever you're going to be staying. If you cannot go because you can't afford the travel, or you have something else coming up that weekend, a prior event, all we ask is that we'll refund the money directly, whatever the price of that ticket was. We'll give you that, and then all we ask is that you spend that money on a game down the road this season, to an Ohio State game, just to support and numbers. And we're going to be doing a lot more stuff like this as we keep going and we keep growing. We take all of our super chats, by the way. We didn't explain this. Half of it goes to Team Challenge, a ministry that helps the youth that are struggling with addiction and whatever else they might have in their life. And that's very near and dear to my boy Devin's heart. And for me, the other half is going to helping homeless vets, because I'm a veteran and I don't feel any vet should be homeless. The sacrifice that they have made for this country is tremendous and beyond anything, if you haven't served, that you can even imagine. So that's where our money is going. When we start sending that money out, we will do something different that I don't think anyone else is doing. We will actually itemize it, and we'll show it on the screen, so that way you guys know where your money is going and you can feel a part of the family. And we love BBZ family, Scoop family. We're all one. We're all brothers and sisters in Christ, and we're just trying to pay it forward to the less fortunate, because that's what Jesus would want us to do.
Bro, you killed that.
Thanks. I've been watching you a lot, man. I'm learning.
You killed that, dude.
I'm learning. I'm learning. Hold up. I'm not ready, though, because I was talking. So now I got to get my song ready.
All right. See, you killed it and I failed. I didn't get the song ready.
No, you don't got to get the song ready. You got to get the question ready. All right. I'm ready.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Anyway, here we go. Okay. So what was the first bowl game Ohio State played besides the Rose Bowl? Huh? What was it? You can only answer once. Once you answer in the chat, please don't answer again. It confuses us. And then I'll say you're right, and somebody else will see the right answer and answer it first and win. The Natural. Got it.
Good job, Natural. 26 seconds.
The Orange Bowl, the Natural is up to 5. Dang, Steely with 9 still. The Natural is in second with 5. I tell you what, remind me for tomorrow's show. Is today Tuesday?
Hold on, what day is today? No, today is Wednesday, right?
Tuesday.
No, it's Wednesday. It's definitely Wednesday. I got paid today. It's Wednesday.
Are you like for sure on that though?
Yeah, 100%.
It is. It says Wednesday live in the corner up here. Okay, so yeah, We'll do trivia tomorrow. I'll ask some bonus questions. 2 bonus questions worth 2 or 3 points each. So that'll be good.
And just to let you guys know, if you're watching on Twitter, you in order to participate, you need to be on YouTube, right? Or is that wrong? I think that's right.
I don't know. If I can see the right answer in the chat, I'll give you. I don't know. Steely says he thinks he has 10. He said it's cool. Steely, listen, man. There was one subject that I was really good at in school, and it was math. You know what I mean? I did AP calculus and got an A.
Shout out to Aunt Chris for the $10. Love what you guys are doing. We love you too, Aunt Chris, and happy birthday. Oh, we got some news in the chat. Our man Rome, OH, offered my nephew today, LFG.
Yes, sir. Rome, that means you officially have to come on this show.
Yes.
Get your nephew on this show, and let's talk about it, man. Shoot us an email, the Buckeye Boys with 3 Z's at gmail.com. On that note, Devin's tired. It's time for Devin's bedtime. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys and thank all your support. On that note, go Buckeyes. OH.
IO.